What is up, everyone? Hope you guys having a blessed and wonderful day today, guys. The big, beautiful bill, it has passed through Congress, and it will be signed on July 4th, Independence Day. Today is July 3rd, day before. And guys, we're going to go into what exactly is in this. I'll probably end up breaking this down further in more videos. So guys, there's a lot of stuff out there right now. If you watch CNN, this bill is the devil. If you watch MSNBC, oh, this is the worst bill ever. If you watch Fox News, oh, this is the best bill ever. What I'm going to do is actually tell you what is actually in it. And, and then we'll go from there. You guys let me know in the comments what you think. Again, this is what is actually in the bill. All right, guys. So overall, you're going to have big tax cuts. You're going to have cuts to welfare programs, more money for the military and border security, new saving programs for families, which I think a lot of people will be interested in that if you have a family, and rollbacks on green energy and woke regulations. That's right, guys. So basically, the tax breaks. Okay, AKA, guys, you get to keep more of your paycheck, and you should start seeing this immediately once this bill has been signed. Trump's 2017 tax cuts are now permanent. They were set to expire, but now they're permanent. There's new deductions. You will not pay taxes on overtime or tips if you make under $150,000 per year. So that's a big one for a lot of people. Trump ran on this specific item, and he managed to actually pull this off with this big, beautiful bill. All right, guys, you can deduct up to $10,000 in your actual car loan interest, but that's only if your car is made here in the good old US of A. That's right, guys. That's right. There's going to be more on that. I might do an entire podcast on that specific line item. But right now we're just going over cumulative what's happening, and then we'll get into more of it as the days go on.
The SALT cap
is how much you can deduct in state taxes. Went from $10K to $40K for families under $500,000 income per year. So that is going to be your SALT cap. SALT stands for state and local tax deduction. It basically it's a deduction that allows taxpayers who itemize their federal tax deductions to deduct certain taxes paid to the state and local governments from their federal taxable income. These taxes include property taxes and either state income taxes or state sales taxes, but not both. So guys, there's going to be a whole entire thing about that we will probably end up covering on this channel. Let's jump back over here. I don't want to spend too much time on that. There's a lot to go through on this bill. All right, guys. So the next one is the child tax credit. Goes up from $2,000 to $2,500 per kid. That's right, guys. Your child tax credit goes up from $2,000 per year to $2,500 per year per child. All right, guys. The next one we got is the Trump accounts for kids. I absolutely love this. New pre-tax savings accounts for children. It's like a 401k, but for future expenses. Government puts in $1,000 into this Trump account for kids at birth. So if you have a child, they will have a Trump account, and there will be $1,000 in there for that child at birth. Parents can add up to $5,000 per year. This grows tax-free. Kids can use it later for school or job training, starting a business, buying a home. And why this actually matters, it's a head start for your kids that also saves you money on taxes now. That's right, guys. And this is pre-tax saving accounts. So this is amazing.
All right, guys.
Cuts to social programs. Let's touch on a hot topic, Medicaid. There's going to be stricter rules to stay eligible for Medicaid. It's cuts on how states can actually spend that money. Around 10 to 12 million people are expected to lose coverage under this. The reason why is because they are actually cutting all Medicaid for illegal immigrants. So all illegal immigrants will be cut when it comes to social programs, when it comes to Medicaid. So if you are illegal, your Medicaid will be cut. I don't really think illegals should have Medicaid anyways, but that's neither here or there. That's just my opinion. And also, if you have a disability and you can't work, or you work limited days, your Medicaid will not be cut. But if you have no, if you sit at home on grandma's couch and you don't want to particularly get up and go to work, then your Medicaid will probably be cut if there is no legitimate situation or you don't have an ailment that actually prevents you from working. Your Medicaid will be cut if you are just a bum. So that is what will happen there. Food stamps, SNAP. States have to pay more to manage it. If a state makes too many mistakes, they lose federal funding.
Work rules are stricter.
So we will start seeing that when it comes to food stamps. Student loans, they ended the forgiveness plan. So guess what, guys? Just like the rest of us that paid our student loans off, you got to get on paying yours. That's what that means. No more subsidized federal loans for student loans as well. All right, guys, let's get into the border and military. 150 billion boost to military weapons, drones, and tech. 70 billion to border security. This includes wall construction, surveillance, border patrol hiring. ICE funding is going way up, guys. That's right. Okay, rollbacks on green energy and regulations. Electric vehicle and solar tax credits are going away for a few years. Now, this is where Donald Trump and Elon Musk got into a really heavy fight over this, being Elon was an electric vehicle provider. The government had given him a lot of tax credits and stuff like that. Electric vehicle and solar tax credits are going away for a few years. Not everybody wants an electric car. Not everybody wants solar power. So this is to give variety into the actual market. Methane fines delayed for 10 years. States can't regulate AI for a full decade. This is in order to let innovation grow. So, okay, this one right here is one that I'm a little questionable on. But then again, this is also the tech bros teaming up with the conservative side of things. And it's basically to allow innovation to grow and not be hampered, so to speak. We'll see how this ends up going. If the planet's taken over in a decade, we'll know how it happened. Ends some funding to Planned Parenthood and gender surgeries under Medicaid. To me, what I've researched this far, if someone wants to have an abortion, they can still have an abortion. They want to have the gender surgery where they remove their genitals, then it just will not be covered under Medicaid. So a person would have to actually pay for that. That is what that actual item line means. So it will no longer be paid for by the taxpayer dollars. The person will have to pay for that. Removes tax on gun suppressors or silencers.
So there we go. There's that.
I had to look more into that as well. 40 million to build the National Garden of American Heroes. This is statues of historic American figures. I think that's pretty sweet. 50 billion to help rural hospitals and air traffic upgrades. Now, this falls in the idea of if people go to a hospital in rural areas and, the hospital doesn't make any money, the person doesn't have any money, insurance company makes some money, the government is putting $50 billion in a account to help cover that. I thought this was an amazing thing. I actually covered this on today's earlier podcast. If you guys get a chance to check that one out, it's regarding Scott Jennings and the CNN Medicaid panel that I did on that one. All right, guys, we've got farm aid, disaster relief, and infrastructure support. That's great. It ends a loophole where people could buy $800+ of goods tax-free from overseas websites. So that is out of here. That particular loophole is done. There's no longer a loophole. That is just it's just a hole, bro. So here we go. Encourages more oil and gas drilling. That is one of Trump's other promises. Drill, baby, drill. So that means, hey, once this is signed, we're going to have more oil drilling here in America. All right, guys. So it'll likely add 2.524 trillion to the national debt over 10 years. But the middle class will get real tax relief on this particular bill. Some Americans will lose healthcare or food support. So that is what's going on here. If you want the too long didn't read version of this, Trump's big, beautiful bill is lower taxes, less welfare, more border protection, new savings for you kids, and less woke junk. Critics call it harsh. Supporters say it puts America first. Hope you guys have a blessed day. Take care. One love.